Oh, you can't do that in 2024. You cannot.
You can't come out straight. No, but here's the thing. I would never question somebody's sexual identity, but there is a part of me that does this. If it quacks like a duck, it's probably a closeted homosexual.
Sit on down and pour yourself a glass.
And tune into your favorite podcast,
Where things will be misquoted.
and opinions ain't sugar-coated.
Cause DJ and Kelly are locked and probably loaded.
Hey guys, welcome to Locked and Probably Loaded with DJ and Kelly. I'm your host, DJ Qualls, and I'm here with my good friend, Kelly Blackheart.
That's
hey,
me.
Kelly, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Great.
You're very excited to start this.
I forgot what I was going to say.
No!
Damn it. This is why I started. So
It's
Kelly,
only been 10
I
seconds
know.
since you said roll it.
Meow. Kelly, we just recorded an episode. We're actually current now. The one that we just recorded will air tomorrow or for the Patreon. And so we're really close to you now. And we just went over and Isaac sent us put up something on the screen that says,
I was talking about
"Wrap it up."
astrology and election.
Oh. So I'm a natural skeptic of astrology, right? Or just of anything. I mean, but not to the point where I'm vocally skeptic, because I'm also not smart enough or stupid enough to say I don't know something I couldn't possibly know.
Right.
I do have theories that perhaps people go into personality groups based on the time of year that they were born, because seasonality and light affects us, and there could be generalities in that way, and gravity and whatever the fuck all the stars involved. But we're not a guest podcast, but I want to have a psychic on.
I would love that.
I think that we should do it, and we should do it soon.
Yeah. I'm totally down.
I really want to do it. I want to get what should we do, like tarot cards? Or like a medium?
Tarot, you could do. I mean,
You can call one right now if you want to.
I know. It would
Not
only
one of
cost you
those.
$3 a minute.
I mean, I remember I saw that psychic that within 2 minutes she had nailed. I hadn't even spoken yet, and she had nailed so much shit, and I was like, okay, what the fuck? But yeah, I know of some very qualified people that I can reach out to.
Please do that. Okay. Let's have somebody on, and we can pimp them, and they can share their skills with us, and you know what I mean, and get them drummed up for our thousands of listeners.
I mean, I always was very anti-astrology because all I knew of it was horoscopes in magazines, and I'm like, these are fucking so general. It's a general reading that anybody could
like the National
find
Enquirer
themselves
too.
in. It's like, you're gonna have a great month as long as you hang out with your friends, everything's gonna be good. And it's like that. Okay, but once I got into like my actual natal chart and looking at my sun, moon, rising, all of the houses and all that stuff, there has been so much shit that has blown my fucking mind in some of the readings that I've gotten, because I'm not giving any information to people, and they are nailing certain years of my life that were really difficult. They're nailing like there was one person that knew exactly when I changed careers, like all of this stuff.
Yeah, let's have somebody on, that you know that's good.
Okay.
See if we can get them for free.
Yeah,
in
it's
exchange.
a podcast.
Yeah. I'm interested in that. I've spoken about this before. I was on Hollywood Medium with Tyler Henry, and that was it. There's no way you could tell me I didn't talk to my grandfather,
right?
And we've spoken about this, and so I would be curious, especially now that we're both in a transition period, like in our professional lives, to come on and get some of that, and some perspective, and also I would like somebody to talk me through, like what it's like to be a psychic or a medium or an intuitive in general. My grandmother says that she was. I mean, a lot of my dreams have come true. We all have those feelings where we're like, I knew this, or I think this is going to happen, and it happens. But also our brains are really capable of magical thinking.
Yes.
But like a lot of times, and I think I've spoken about this, like this happens to me so much. I'll be singing the song that's on the radio before. I mean, but maybe it's because I got giant ears that are like satellite dishes. I don't fucking know. But I would be I'm interested in that. I mean, even if it is bullshit, I think it gives hope to people in the same way that, can I say religion does?
Yeah.
Or will that lose us all of our followers?
But I think that's fair, right? Because there's so much in manifestation and religion and energy. It's like there's
Like you cause it to happen because you believe it?
Yeah, because like the way I see tarot cards, for instance, right? Like it's not necessarily that tarot is predicting the future, but tarot will give you information. Like, you know how when you flip a coin and it's
do it all
heads
the
or
time.
tails, and in your head, like you think you're flipping the coin because you want the coin to give you the answer, but in your head you're going, I hope it's heads.
Yeah.
Sometimes tarot is the thing that will get you to recognize what you actually want or what you're going for.
That's interesting. I heard. So first of all, flipping coins. I spent a year where I flipped a coin, and when I couldn't make a decision, it was not beneficial to me. But I wasn't doing it in real life. I was doing this. Hey Siri, flip a coin.
Yeah, you do. You still do that at trivia.
It's tails this time.
But he's always fucking wrong. He's always wrong. But I found out this by researching flipping a coin and like sort of the sort of superstition involved with that. Usually heads is what you want.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, so heads is you always pick the thing that you want the most, and you're like, this is heads.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, that's
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Even if you don't know it subconsciously, it's the thing that you want.
Yeah, I've gotten into it just like as a hobby, right? Because it's not that I let any of that stuff dictate my life, but you're right. It is something that you go, okay, well, this reading makes me feel like I'm on the right path, and energy is so important, right? So if I can have something, whether it's a placebo effect or not, influence me to think that I'm on the right path, my energy will be higher vibrational than it otherwise would be, and I will attract I think the law of attraction and law of assumption is fucking real. And so if you're constantly in that mode of everything works out for me and this is going to be great, I wake up every day and I'm like, Rhino, it's going to be a great day, isn't it? Like I've changed my entire way of thinking over the last year.
Yeah.
And look at me, I'm happy for the first fucking time in my life. Like
You seem lighter.
I
seem
had
brighter.
A rough week, like just right after my birthday. And I think part of it was like I had, Grant and Mylene and my nephew came out, and Colleen and Stan came out and hung out for the weekend and stuff like that. So it's, you're with a lot of people that you love, and then all of a sudden everybody's gone, and there's that.
Yeah.
And it's the recovering from partying and all that stuff. But also I was just like kind of down for about a week and a half. But I'm in such a different mental space that I knew I was going to be able to get out of it quickly, whereas I haven't been like that before.
Right.
And so all of that came from talking more positively to myself.
And it's a big deal.
Looking for the things that are great that are going to happen that day. Like, because your brain wants to confirm, we talked about it before, confirmation bias. Your brain, its only job is to confirm what you're thinking.
Right.
And
so you're not shocked or uncomfortable.
Yes.
And so also so you can deal with
yes,
things.
because your brain doesn't know that this thing is better for you. Your brain's only job is to keep you safe and comfortable. And so sometimes people will keep themselves in toxic situations because it still feels safer than the unknown.
It's also why people disassociate.
Yeah.
Like when people have psychotic breaks, it's because your brain, if we deal with this, it's going to pull a lot of shit out your brain wants to protect you from pain.
Yeah.
I have a friend who had a complete break, and it was scary. And then I talked to somebody else who had a partner who had a complete break in front of them, and both of these situations were very similar. It's like the person gets on the edge, a precipice where they're gonna have to confront something, and their brain switches like, nope, not happening.
Yeah.
That's a you thing, not a me thing. When you were just at a place like, oh my God, I'm doing that,
right?
And you're like, nope, it's not. Oh, you almost got me, like that kind of stuff. That's what really happens. But going back to like why I think religion is good when you don't weaponize it to other people.
Yes.
And why I think like astrology is good, because if it gives you peace, if it makes sense out of any of this stuff that's happening around us, I have no problem with any of that. The only problem I have with any sort of ideological system or belief is when you try to use that against people and marginalize them or make them feel less than.
Organized religion is the problem, right? But I have become a very spiritual person in the sense that I believe in the universe. And when I think of the creator, I think of the creator as me. right? Like my entire world is created by how I feel and the things that I am projecting out into the world.
And you impact other people through that.
Yeah, and
like
so
you alter other people's paths.
Exactly. So I think that spirituality is really beautiful, and feeling connected, and there's something really. Some people this gives them existential dread, where it's like, you don't matter in the grand scheme of things. Like, we are on this floating rock in this blip of time nihilism. That nobody will ever. But to me, that's so freeing, because it means I can do anything. I could fuck up. I can make mistakes, and who fucking cares? Because nobody's gonna remember this.
You've been in California too long, bro. I just moved my family to Idaho, and I'm going to do 12 posts about it. California fucking sucks. Yeah. Fuck you.
But I'm going to send you this, Isaac, because I made this little worksheet for myself, and this was maybe a year or so ago, because our brains, fuck Steve, right? Like, our brains we're going to have these intrusive thoughts that are like, you're shit, blah, 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 whatever. But our brains are more powerful than that. So we just need to combat those feelings. And so I made this little worksheet that every time I'm going through something where I'm like, this is an insane thought, but I can't get it can't get it out of looping through my head. I write down the negative thought, and then I force myself to provide evidence of why that thought would be true and why that thought would be false. And I can almost I could never come up with things that are true.
That's really great. You should sell that and exploit other people's whatever.
It really is. It's just like a simple exercise. It takes a couple of minutes. That's
great.
And
the graphics are great.
Thanks.
It makes it not threatening.
Yeah, it's just like a stupid little. I printed out a bunch of things, and when I'm going through some shit, I write it down. And by the time you're done with it, it takes a couple minutes. You go, okay, yeah, this is a bullshit thought.
You could make that little brain that's in jail blue for boys and put some little balls on it. And I think they would sell like hotcakes.
And with some supportive underwear.
Exactly.
And a little person running behind it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which used to be free.
Yeah, so I'll actually put this sheet on the Patreon. If you're on Patreon,
is really
you can
good.
have this.
It's a good idea. Samantha Smith says, I wake up every morning and go through the 5 stages of grief every morning, just about being awake. Ty is such a great person to have around me in the morning, because he'll walk into a room and do this, look at me like and do this. Oh no. And then and walk away. I'm not great in the morning. I'm not abusive. I'm not in any kind of state of engagement.
Yeah.
But some days I wake up in acceptance, but you can't ever predict it, and I can't predict it. It's not behavior driven; it just is driven. And Samantha Smith told me something that I tried for a couple times and it worked. When you wake up in a bad mood, or just wake up every day, let you ask yourself out loud, what wonderful thing is going to happen today?
Yes.
Let's live this day out and see and wait for the wonderful thing. And then sometimes something wonderful happens, and that's actually not the wonderful thing. Something more wonderful comes behind it. But it's just looking, and sometimes it could be as small as my fries were piping hot and crispy when I got them, and that made my day. It sounds like a lot of up with people and gratitude, which I am inclined to reject because I want to be a curmudgeon. But as I'm getting older, I find myself unwillingly bright-siding myself. Like actually saying to myself, well, it could have been a lot worse. And actually, you are pretty lucky. It's like, I'm like, stop fucking doing that. I don't want to be this person.
Yeah.
But I find myself as I tell you the story about when I lost an envelope with $9,000 in it once. It was to pay my property tax. Back in the day, my redneck self was really afraid of banks. And so if I had a large bill to pay, I would take the money and keep it somewhere until that large bill was due. And then I would go to the bank, deposit it, write a check on it. And I don't know what the hell I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's fear of loss. It's fear of loss, right? It's fear of the unknown. And I lost an envelope with $9,000 in it once. And I was so upset about it until my brain started doing this. If you needed $9,000, you would know where $9,000 was until $9,000 was safe. This is a you thing, not a universe thing. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing to you? You're not this person. But I have found myself getting increasingly bright-sidey.
That's from hanging out with me.
You think so? I hope not, because I have to stop hanging out with you because I find it fucking annoying. No, but I think also it's a life thing. As you live through a bunch of stuff, it's like, well, come on. own your spot.
When you're young, a lot of stuff feels like the world's crashing down on you.
You can be the victim of your own experience, but as you get older, you start holding yourself accountable for stuff.
And also, as you get older, you're like, I've been through some shit that's really fucking hard, and I can get through whatever's coming. Yeah. You know, like it's the faith in yourself that you will be strong enough to get through whatever's coming. I feel like I've always been a fairly optimistic person, even though I had a really cynical kind of sense of humor. Yeah. But I was always the silver lining person. Like anytime somebody came to me with something, I'm like, yeah, I guess on the bright side though, you've got this, and this going on or whatever. And that's kind of how I treated life. And I felt the same way. I feel like being optimistic and positive is really annoying. And I thought if I stopped doing that I wouldn't be funny anymore and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Or, you know, any of those things like the self-deprecating humor. That was what I leaned on, but I don't really need to do that anymore.
I heard some actors the other day, it was a group of actors and a couple of musicians were talking about how they're less sort of insular and emo and depressed, and they think the work suffers for it. And I was like, that's a cop-out. Mm-hmm. I completely think it's a cop-out that you have to be in absolute misery in order to create.
It took me so long to go to therapy because of that. I'm like, if I heal, I won't be funny anymore. I won't, or funny or creative or any of those things, because I was a tortured artist. Yeah. You know, it's like, but I still have all those experiences that tortured me. I just am not in prison from them anymore, and I can still access those emotions that I had, but I don't have to live those emotions every single day, and that's better for my creativity. And it really is a cop-out. It's a crutch that people are leaning on, and also healing's fucking hard. Like I think it's scary to think about healing, because you have to address all of the things that happened again, first of all, live through the pain again, and like a fucking flower that's coming out of the fucking pavement or whatever, it hurts as you're growing. You've got growing pains, all this stuff, but when you come out, you're like, oh, thank God I went through that shit. Yeah. Thank God I fucking finally addressed it.
I have a natural fear of change, though, like just in general, all kinds of change.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't, transitions are hard for me. Even traveling, once I'm somewhere, I'm so happy to be wherever I am and so invested in whatever I'm doing at that moment. But I always feel like I'm leaving people and going to, but I'm going to a new group of people. But I feel like I'm always saying goodbye to people, and so transitions are really, really hard for me. Like and just in life, like I'm not patient, and even though I think that my thoughts have tended toward pessimism most of my life, and still kind of do a little bit, I survive on hope. So it's a complete oxymoron or dichotomy that I hope hard and try hard, and both of those things are really, really painful. Yeah. But I think that I owe everything that I have to hoping and thinking that things will get better, or just knowing, not thinking. Yeah. When I first got cast in a movie, I knew that I was going. You have to know. I was the least surprised person in my life when I got Road Trip. Right. Like, I was stoked. Don't get me wrong. Not a day of it I took for granted. I couldn't fucking believe it, but I could believe it. But I actually got offended by everybody around me doing this. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Right. And I'm like, but I told you. Yeah.
You didn't believe me?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah, I think change for me is exciting, and that has a lot to do with, my childhood. There had been a part of me that was really envious of people who lived in one place their entire life, and they had these memories from one home, and they had these friendships that they had forever. But we moved around so much. Like we moved 6 times in 5 years at one point. You're going to different schools. We moved to Canada, Virginia, back to Chicago, all of these places.
That sounds like the fucking witness protection program.
I do have some questions. Actually, for my birthday, my mom's...
Why was our last name Sanderson at one point?
You're a witch. Well, one of my ancestors was tried at the Salem witch trials.
Really?
Yeah, and he...
was it a he?
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's like, it's so fitting that I am the way I am, because I have a witch in me. His friend, he was in jail, and his friends broke him out of jail. And I'm like, that's so me. Like that is.
So he didn't die?
He didn't die.
Because if he was related to you, I would think that his mouth alone would get him murdered.
They wanted to, but
that's the reason why
he had good friends who bailed, who helped him escape from jail. But my mom, for my birthday, had spent like 6 months writing this letter or email about kind of my childhood and taking me through kind of different points of my childhood, because I've said a billion times, like, I don't remember almost anything from my childhood, and I think that's a lot of trauma that just blocks things for you. And when I say trauma, it had nothing to do with my parents were wonderful and all that stuff. I just went through a lot of other shit, and so you dissociate, you kind of black out years of your life.
Well, just the simple fact of moving a lot as a child, which is not something that's a common experience. Yeah, because most of us do have. Like, I lived in 2 places growing up, and I feel like I don't really remember a lot of these people just because it's been so long. But I didn't have to constantly make new friends. I'd have to adapt my personality to you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or starting over and also 6 months for a child is like 7 years for us. So 5 years is like 35 years. Yeah. To an adult. You know what I mean? It's like it's also at that age, it's what you know. It literally is the bulk of your existence on this planet.
I mean, I think moving around so much as a kid is exactly why my personality is the way it is. It's very easy for me to go into new groups and make new friends and all that stuff, but I also don't necessarily feel like I have a home in any, it's like...
So would you recommend to adults to move around with their kids?
I think there's arguments to be made for everything, right? Like... there have been times where I've been talking to my mom about like our childhood and all that stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like we were a family that was very even keeled, right? Like we didn't fight a whole lot, but there wasn't like a lot of lovey-dovey, all that stuff. So I feel like I'm pretty emotionally unavailable when it comes to relationships and all that stuff. And I think she takes it as criticism, and I'm like, it's not a criticism, it just is what it is. It's not that I would prefer a family that fought hard and loved hard, because my sensitive soul cannot handle confrontation and,
you're also
fighting
not Italian.
And all that stuff.
Get over here, I love you.
Yeah, I mean, when
I'm gonna give you a knuckle sandwich. Oh, Dad.
When I'm around people that are like really, really okay with confrontation, it's hard for me because
it freaks me out too.
Because I'm the type of person where my words mean a lot to me, and so I'm never going to speak to you in a way that is biting or to try to hurt your feelings. But a lot of people are really flippant with their words. I take that shit to heart, and some other people can just turn around and fucking not
it's
be affected
amazing how
by it.
people don't get affected by it. But it must be nurture. It must be the environment you grew up in.
100%.
Screaming at each other, yelling at each other. You hug. Oh, come here, I love you. Like, I don't know why everybody has this accent in this scenario. So I got to tell you, I can't get your witch uncle out of my head. Like I'm picturing Uncle Arthur.
It was my uncle from the Salem witch. My uncle.
Well, did you say it was like your great uncle?
It's something like
in
that.
my mind, he's
an ancestor.
In my mind, it's Uncle Arthur from Bewitched.
He is a dude. It is a dude.
It is a
guy.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said that, and that was the problem when she said that. I've understood most of what you said, but the image of Uncle Arthur from Bewitched is, do you remember him? Oh, Sam, he talked like this.
Yes,
Paul Lind.
Yeah.
It won't leave me, and it's like I had to say it out loud, otherwise I would never be able to move past it.
Okay, that's fine.
Every time I saw you from now on, you'd be like this. My mom died. Can you pretend to hear me for a second?
I would
do this.
Was,
oh, Sam. Uncle Arthur. There he is. Paul Lind. Who
he was? I think he was the son of.
Somebody texting me.
John Alden and Priscilla Mullins. Let me look it up. Salem witch trial.
Steve Carell also played him in the new Bewitched.
So John Alden Jr. was a soldier and sailor accused of witchcraft on a visit to the town of Salem and imprisoned in the 1692 Salem witch trials. He escaped from jail and was later exonerated. So his father was with Priscilla Mullins. They came over on the Mayflower. Those are my ancestors. And I think we had a quilt that Priscilla had made on the journey, and it was like passed down from generations, and it was either was in the Smithsonian or something like that. So I have some colonizer blood. I apologize, but at least one of my ancestors was tried as a witch.
But he got away with it, which matters to me.
Yeah.
Because persecution I hate. Do you remember that that cartoon growing up of Miles Standish and Priscilla? Can you Google that Miles Standish cartoon, Priscilla? Every time I hear any Pilgrim stories, they look like this. They have those long faces. Is it Priscilla Mullins? Is that her name?
That's what came up.
Oh, Hardship of Miles Standish.
Oh my God! Did my ancestor have an affair with Miles Standish? Miles Standish sounds really familiar, so that is probably what?
That's like he's a guy from history, right?
All
Yeah,
pilgrims
but like
have long
But I've
faces
looked
to me.
into this. So you got John and Priscilla Alden.
Oh, maybe that's who it is. No,
But I remember Miles being a part of their story somehow.
anyway, all pilgrims have blonde hair and long faces to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm naturally blonde. I just had to.
But you don't have that long face. It had a pointy chin. Oh, that may be it right there.
Do not open till Christmas.
Is that what it is? Oh yeah, I see that. Could you imagine having to come here?
They had Christmas back then. Well, not
No, they didn't.
1940, but
I think it was called Michaelmas or something, wasn't it? I think it's called Michaelmas. I'm not joking.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Hey Siri, when was Christmas invented?
The first recorded Christmas celebration
Oh.
was in Rome on December 25th, 8336. This is from Wikipedia.
8336.
Yeah, but I bet it was something else. I mean,
8336 is in the future.
hey Siri, when was the first Black Friday?
Black Friday is on
336
Friday,
AD.
November
Oh,
22nd,
AD 336. I thought you were saying like 8,336, and I was like,
Oh,
that's
no. AD.
6,000 years from now. Fuck!
We've been doing it wrong.
We've been doing it wrong completely.
I find Christmas scary. I've never liked Christmas. The colors are garish. Like I love Thanksgiving. Like it's my favorite.
Really?
I love Thanksgiving, but Christmas there's something kind of creepy about Santa Claus. And I
Yeah, he
think
comes, it breaks into your house.
but also this, that song goes
Yeah.
ding dong
Yeah.
ding dong. Yeah. To my child self, it sounded like a scary movie.
Yeah, I mean, some of the songs are pretty haunting for sure.
They're
I mean,
all
but religious songs are pretty haunting.
Well, that's the one that in the Nightmare Before Christmas. That's the one that they reworked.
Oh,
to make it scarier.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I was not a fan of The Nightmare Before Christmas. I just saw it for the first time a few years ago.
I love it. I'm built like him.
That was DJ's ancestor.
If anybody's gonna play Jack Skellington,
It was the
Yeah, we
first
should
time
do
I
a-
saw somebody that reflected my body type on screen.
Representation matters.
Representation matters. I have been dying to dress up like him for a karaoke night.
You should.
Yeah.
That would be a great costume.
So Supernatural's doing a cruise this year, and I think I'm going to try to host karaoke multiple times. So I'm
I
going
wanna go
to
on a supernatural cruise.
You come with me.
Okay, when is it?
It's the week before Thanksgiving.
Done.
It's a dead time anyway. It's a perfect
let's
time
do
to
the pod on the boat.
Let's
Yeah.
fucking
Let's go.
Let's do the pod
we could
on
do
the
a live
boat.
pod.
I'll pitch that. I'm not joking. You guys could meet us at a port, and
Yeah.
we could.
Or we could just do it on the boat.
Yeah, but you would be locked in for 8 days. It's an 8-day thing.
Super down with that.
No, but I mean, I think that we could just do it for the people on the boat.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you probably wouldn't want to come for the whole 8 days.
Why wouldn't I?
I'm not even sure that we'll be there for the full
Yeah,
8 days.
so-
I'm not sure how it's going to work. So we could meet at a port and then go on the ship.
Oh, I thought you meant the listeners.
No.
And I was like,
no, we would fly into the port.
Yeah,
I would
that's
imagine,
fine.
and then go on. Otherwise, we're on a boat for
that
8
sounds
days.
fun. Yeah, great.
I've never been on a cruise before. I'm really excited. My brother-in-law and sister, my brother and sister-in-law are cruise people, and they love it.
My parents went on like a 2-week one
That sounds
a
too
couple
long to
years
me.
ago, and my mom like has massive motion sickness, and so I was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And they had like the best time
Is she
ever.
a drinker?
Not really. No, neither of my parents are.
Oh,
That's why I do it.
That makes sense.
'cause
That's why they're
they've
so hard to
missed out.
rob.
I know. They're never sleeping heavily.
I'm telling you, if your parents started hitting the sauce, it'd be so much easier to rob. I've been trying to rob Kelly's parents since I met her.
Oh, wait, I don't know if I ever talked about this, but my dad purposefully does not really pay attention to not pay attention, but he doesn't listen to what I do with my career.
I wonder why.
Because
Is it the shit that you say?
I very frequently talk about drugs and sex and alcohol and all of these things, and he doesn't want to see his little princess angel be a degenerate on the fucking
Think about
internet.
her. Think about her doing
So-
drugs and getting railed by guys. She doesn't do that. That's my imagination.
Yeah, I haven't had sex in like 5 years. When we launched the podcast, my dad loves sending personalized cards. And so he sent me a card in the mail, and it was a picture of me, him, and Rhino. And Rhino was resting on his shoulder. And he was like, congratulations on the launch of your podcast, blah, blah, blah. You guys are going to have a great time. By the way, don't follow through with a plan on episode 2. And it was when you were like, I want to rob your parents. And I cried because it was so nice that he sent me that. And I couldn't believe that he listened. But also I was laughing so hard because I was like, I figured my mom might hear it because she listens every once in a while to the podcast I do. But I did not expect my dad to hear it. So Dad, we won't rob you. It's fine.
Well, I can't rob you now because I tell this podcast.
I know, but it's actually it's almost
me.
better to have said the plan out loud so that he thinks
Gonna have
that
plausible
it'll never
deniability.
happen. Yeah, it's like I wouldn't. It was clearly a joke. I wouldn't actually do it.
Exactly. Oh, that's smart.
It would actually be funny if when you're in Chicago for the Supernatural convention, I go at the same time. You go to my parents' house. My dad would just be like standing at all the doors, like, "Ooh, where are you going now?"
So Kelly's parents were definitely not going to rob you. Isaac pulled up something interesting that I actually just found out. You can now retire on a cruise ship.
Well, they're saying it's cheaper.
It is cheaper.
It is cheaper. Yeah,
And
girl-
then instead of going
1,000%.
on a retire, they have
A lady
medical
on the
place,
internet
buffet.
just did this.
Have you guys heard of the 9-month cruise? That's still going on.
Yeah.
It's like it's on TikTok, and people are documenting their experience. It is not going great. There's already been multiple divorces. A couple of people have died.
Well, people die. People die.
Yeah, no, I know,
all the
but it's
time.
like it's.
I heard.
I mean, I guess I don't know why I think this would be crazy and retiring on a cruise ship wouldn't be crazy, but. I've only been on a weekend cruise, and we went to Mexico, and I didn't leave the ship. I was with 2 people that were much younger than me, and so they wanted to go party and shake their ass everywhere, and I was like, I'm just gonna stay on the boat, whatever.
If there are free booze and free food, why would you leave the boat?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they wanted to go do excursions and go to bars and stuff like that. I just like fucking sat at the pool.
Okay,
and
I see
read.
their point.
Yeah,
Bars and stuff like that. I see the point.
$60,000 for the 9-month cruise, or $120,000 per person for the junior suite.
I mean, that sounds like not a crazy amount of money.
It's certainly
that's
not.
$5,000 a month. It costs that much to live.
Yeah, I mean, well, 9 months for $60,000.
Yeah. So you in order to do this, you need 3 children that you can stay with 1 month each.
But no, because that's $60,000 per person.
Oh, this wouldn't be the one you retire on. This is just a crazy long 9-month cruise.
Yeah. That's the one. They should do a reality show on that. Don't you think?
There was a guy on TikTok that got it, he had been talking about it, and then some brand like decided that they were going to sponsor him to go on it, and so he went on for like 18 days, and it was just he was documenting the whole thing. He was like, "Get me the fuck out of here." Whatever. But to me, I don't.
Venereal disease breakouts. I'm sure they're common.
Being on a ship for that long, the ocean to me is the most terrifying fucking place in the world.
More than the air?
Yeah, I think so. Because if you're in a plane and it fucking falls out of the sky and you crash, hopefully you die. On a ship,
I don't want to die.
I know you don't want to die, but if the chances are dying immediately from a crash versus like a ship sinking and then you're in I don't want to fucking be in a Titanic situation. The ocean's terrifying.
You can call a helicopter.
What? Really? I'm DJ Qualls. I'm in the middle of the Pacific right now.
No, I would actually
Come pick me up.
I would actually call Jensen Ackles and have him do it. Hey Jensen, I'm on a ship that's going down.
Jensen, quick question. What are you doing right now? No, like when you see all these videos of like the deep depths of the, like not the depths of the ocean, but like when you're really far out and these waves that are fucking massive and all that, like that is horrifying.
But the ship has stabilizers on it to keep you from feeling that. Like I was on an aircraft carrier and like in the middle of the fucking ocean for like almost 2 weeks, and it like after you get your sea legs, like after the first day, I mean I could feel it, but it didn't affect me, and I do get seasick pretty easy.
Yeah, I think. Well, what's crazy is that one of my biggest fears is drowning, which is nuts because I was a very, very good swimmer. Like after I got injured in college playing volleyball, I got offered to be on the swim team there because my times from when I was 12 and 13 were about the same as their like standard times in college. I was a very good swimmer, but I also was held underwater for a very long time as a child. And I felt that feeling of like your chest is about to explode because you can't breathe. So drowning is a massive fear of mine.
And also drowning.
And also underwater.
Also drowning
creatures.
Is dream people say that it is because like we have recurring dreams about drowning. It's a lot. It's like you don't have control in your life.
Yeah.
Like because breathing
Which
is
I don't.
freedom. Breathing is freedom. I have the control of your life. Why did I shower myself today, Kelly? Come on now.
I feel like we were talking about something. Oh, okay. So Jack Skellington.
Oh yeah.
Christmas.
It's body positive to me.
Yeah. No, I get that. I think that
He has elbows that are my same
really
sharp. Yeah. These bitches could cut cheese.
Nobody's seen them, but they could cut a diamond.
Now the drip got gallons. Pushing down this sandwich. You baloney bitches don't have it. And I give you compassion. Always in fashion. Cut from a different fabric. I have the whole song memorized now.
This podcast, it's so funny because we just jump from tangent to tangent. And, you know, we've talked a billion times about having some structure, but you guys are just getting a glimpse at what us hanging out is like. Also, in our 5 to 6 hour conversations where we never touch on the same thing twice, but we just everything leads to something else.
Also, if you want quality entertainment, you came to the wrong place.
Go to the movies. Go see Lisa Frankenstein.
Exactly. Whoa. Speaking of Lisa Frankenstein, I realized that I know that girl.
Who?
Catherine. What's her name? Catherine
Frankenstein.
Catherine Frankenstein. I know her.
With a main actress.
Hahn. Yes. She was on Supernatural.
Oh, really?
I've been at shows with her. She's wonderful in person. I didn't put it together.
Catherine Newton.
Yeah, Catherine Newton. I've hung out with her.
Oh.
And she's lovely. And
I bet, yeah.
And so, but the thing is, I had to have a come to Jesus meeting with myself, whether or not I could still stand behind my comments. Because I was like, does it change it now that I hated it so bad and said it's viscerally bad things about it because I know the person? And it doesn't. The movie is fucking terrible.
Oh, come on.
It's fucking awful.
Rewatch it.
No.
I think we should do a rewatch on Patreon.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Because I hated it the second time I watched it.
No way. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
all right.
So do you think I'll hate it worse?
I think you
No,
guys
maybe
will
we're
like
gonna-
it on your second watch, and I'll hate it.
Should we do edibles and watch it? I actually asked our Patreon, I'm like, what were some shows that you watched? Because have you ever seen Seventh Heaven?
Oh, yeah.
You have? Because like that, I watched that growing up and it felt like a normal show. But every once in a while, I'll
Really?
see a clip of something that happened and I'm like, that was the most insane show ever. So I'm trying to think of shows that we could rewatch on Patreon and just give commentary during. because
Beverly Mitchell, who played like the second oldest daughter, it was in my peer group when I first got out here. She was always at the parties I was at.
Yeah, I mean, I this was a formative part of my
It
childhood.
looks like a cult.
Yeah, it definitely
Also,
does.
it kind of looks like your family. Everybody is blonde.
we do have
pretty.
framed photos that look
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, that picture especially, like
Yeah.
that.
Everybody
really,
put your
does.
black shirt on.
Everybody
Family
had a black
portrait
shirt.
time.
Yeah.
We've got a framed photo. My brother Scott went to this boarding school when we lived in Canada. It was called Appleby College, and it was just this gorgeous, gorgeous campus. It was like Hogwarts with a bunch of grass, and we did family photos there. So it's just like all of us in our white shirts and like jeans or blue bottoms, and then our little golden or yellow lab was sitting
It's
in the front.
fucking weird. It's creepy.
Yeah,
Like,
it is weird to take family photos.
No, but like the ones that look so idealistic and,
Weirdo.
and perfect. I mean, also it's your background, how you interpret things, right? But seeing like a happy family, like this, look, that's like a cult. It really looks like a cult to me.
Yeah, I mean, they've got so many fucking people there. Like, our family was just the 5 of us. So if you cut out half of that photo, it's not as crazy. I also have pictures of me, Scott, and Grant where we went to like JCPenney photo studio and we're all wearing black turtlenecks and jeans. And I'm like, who chose the costume for this? This is unbelievable.
I'm shocked that I'm the first person that came up with robbing you guys. You look, all those pictures
I'm
make
sure-
you guys look robbable.
Well, but like I
Look at this
said,
happy
my
family.
parents didn't. We didn't ever have money.
Yeah, but happy people
until
look
after
rich.
I left.
Happy blonde people in matching outfits look like they have money.
Yeah, that's true. It is true.
Oh, I can't see. God
Just
damn it.
looking at this guy with the glasses. We were talking about this on Unsolicited. We're like the molester glasses that have come back into style.
Yeah, they really have. My friend
Why?
Sunny Mabry has child molester glasses, and they look amazing
Sunny
on her.
Mabry. She's a comic.
She was a Vine star. She was in The New Guy with me, and she's married to Ethan Embry, who I fucking adore.
Yeah. He was on My Name Is Earl.
Was it
Right?
No, Ethan wasn't. No, that was Ethan Supley.
Oh, wait. Ethan Embry.
Don't you
hold on.
dare besmirch the memory. He's still alive. The career
yes. Okay.
of Ethan Embry.
I know. I can't hardly wait.
I love them
what
so
I'm
much. Hey, Sunny. Hey, Ethan. You
Your
guys
glasses are
the
kind
best.
of.
Yeah, no,
but they're
Sunny
tinted.
Sunny has
Doesn't
90s
count.
child molester sunglasses on. I mean, they're lightly tinted, but they look modelly on her.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how it's funny how something can look so right on somebody else and so wrong. Like for me, like those were the glasses I had in high school. So those photos have been suppressed to protect me in the future.
On hot girls, you're like cute glasses.
Yeah.
On regular looking people,
I
you're
look
like
a school shooter.
lock up the school.
Yeah, exactly.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Because they're raping everybody out here. You don't have to run. Did I ever show you the video of me seeing that?
Yeah.
The watch video of that?
Yep, and I posted on my Patreon.
I'm telling you, I get things 10 years after everybody else does, and I'm okay with that. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, and that video still held up 10 years later. It was
amazing.
It was a real treat at the time.
Did I tell you that he lost his agent because he came out as he decided that he was straight?
Oh, you can't do that in 2024. You cannot.
You can't come out as straight. No, but here's the thing. I would never question somebody's sexual identity, but there is a part of me that does this. If it quacks like a duck, it's probably a closeted homosexual. Throw a ball at me and see what happens. There are some stereotypes that are true. As I've gotten older, I've become increasingly attracted to studio pottery and antique porcelain. There's nothing I can do about that. I still am not a fan of the musical, but there are certain things that I cannot control. This guy, the reimagining portraits, man-made DIY, is giving me some real familiar
he's
relative vibes.
He's got a van for sure, and he looks like.
I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he You think he's a bad guy?
I don't know. We'll find out next week. Let's wrap this up. Guys, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/loadedpod. We got to go do our live right now. And you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff at loadedpod.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. I don't know any of those words. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next week. Hyperbole. No, what was the other one?
Purple Burglar. What?
Purple.
Colonel.
Yeah.
Colonel.
No. It was
Colonel.
the woman on TikTok. I mean, she bought the house in Italy with her boyfriend.
Pretend you're my mom.
Caveat for caveat.
Caveat.
Pretend you're my mom. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Sit on down and pour yourself a glass.
And tune into your favorite podcast.
Where things will be misquoted.